major airlines. Alaska Airlines will purchase Hawaiian Airlines for $1.9 billion. Now, we've already been told some details. The combined company will keep both brands, and we know this is not a shotgun wedding, but a merger both airlines think will work well for each company. We've also learned Alaska will pay $18 for each share of Hawaiian stock. Hawaiian closed Friday at $4.86 after losing a little more than half its value this year. The deal also includes $900 million in Hawaiian Airlines debt, which brings the acquisition's total value to that $1.9 billion figure. The combined airline would be based in Seattle with Alaska Airlines CEO at its helm. The companies forecast the acquisition will add to profits within 2 years of the deal closing. Some things we don't yet know include full details on which members of the two management teams will lead the new company and what happens to Hawaiian Airlines head office staff when Alaska has a much larger back office that can do the same work. We take you now to a joint press conference as both airlines discuss their agreement and what it will mean for employees and for travelers.
Ke hau na papa I hanau na ke kamawahine aku kalani e hulawa me kahakau koko paili ke kamoku I lalani a hui aku hui mai me ho lani. The two mele that I offered as the vehena for today, as the opening for today. The first one talks about growth and the abundance that's created when a seed is watered, grows, turns into a tree, and creates the abundance necessary for a forest to happen. The second chant I did was talking about the genealogies of Hawaii and how the genealogies come together. And the last line in that chant, the part of the chant that I did, talks about a place called Holani. Taught to me by my teacher, Holani was a place mythically in the stars. But it was also a place that we refer to as being the northern part of our honua. So how appropriate when I heard about the coming together of Alaska and Hawaiian Airlines. I thought to myself, the image I had in my head was about two families coming together, inspired by native peoples, both in Alaska and in Hawaii, and created to take us around the world and bring the world to us. So today, we're here to celebrate the coming together of these two ohana, these two lineages, these two legacies, both Hawaiian and Alaska Airlines. Hulo, hulo.
Mahalo Mehana for a meaningful welcome, and thank you everyone for joining us on short notice this Sunday afternoon to learn more about the announcement made today. I'd like to extend a special welcome to Lieutenant Governor Sylvia Luke, DBED Director Jimmy Tokioka, and HTA Interim Director Daniel Naho'opi'i for being with us today. If you don't already have them, the press release and fact sheet are available at www.localcareglobalreach.com. We also have printed copies for those of you in the room. In a moment, I'm going to introduce Ben Minakuchi, CEO of Alaska Airlines, and Peter Ingram, President and CEO of Hawaiian Airlines. Each will make a few remarks, then I'll return to the podium for Q&A. Before we hear from our leaders, I'd like to invite John Leong, CEO of Kupu, our host today, to provide a few remarks. John?
Hello, everyone. I don't know about for you guys, but this flew under the radar. Daniel called me last week, the day after Thanksgiving, and said, hey, we need a space. I can't tell you what it's for, but it's a really important thing, and we're really honored that we get to host this very momentous occasion. Kupu, during the daytime we were at, hosts young adults who are getting a second chance to get their diplomas, job skills, and move their life forward, and in a positive way. And in the evenings and weekends, this is a space that's used for a variety of events, from really joyous celebrations to difficult conversations. But all the while, the purpose is to bring community together to move our state forward in a positive direction. And it's with that heart that today we're doing the same thing. We're bringing our communities together to move it forward for a positive direction. As I thought about Alaska and Hawaiian, I think about the home states that they represent. And there's so much similarities in there's a high level of compassion, high level of respect for aina, or land, for community, for people. And we're all very dependent on our air traffic and our air to get to and from our different states. And so when I think about the cultures that are merging together, it really seems like a natural fit, something that's beautiful. And I know that there's just this level of respect that Ben and his team have, that they want to take care of our state, take care of Hawaii's people, and take care of Hawaiian Airlines for the long history that it's had and for much longer history in the future. So with that, I congratulate the two teams. I know it's taken a long time to get here. I know that there was a lot of, I'm sure, a lot of compassion and thoughtfulness in how this was done. And just thank you guys for doing that, because it's not just the people, employees that work for Hawaiian, but it's also the broader communities that are impacted. And I appreciate that level of respect and love that you guys have for the communities of Hawaii and Alaska and beyond. So congratulations. Best wishes, and aloha, and God bless. Thank you.
Mahalo to you and your staff, John, for your hospitality today. Now I'd like to turn our attention to today's announcement. Please note that comments made today will include forward-looking statements about the transaction, including the anticipated impact, benefits, and timing of the transaction. Please refer to the press release issued today for information about risks and uncertainties that could cause actual results to differ materially. I'd now like to invite Ben Minakuchi, CEO of Alaska Airlines, to the podium.
Aloha, everyone, and thank you for being here this afternoon. Mehana, I don't know where you are. I don't know if you're still here, but there you are. That was amazing and beautiful. I love just the way you thought about that and brought it together with the chant. It was extremely touching for me, so thank you. Thank you, Kupu, for hosting us here at the Ho'okupu Center. John Leong, thank you. Kiria Rita Chang, thank you for everything you're doing for us. And Peter and everyone at Hawaiian Airlines, thank you. And all of us at Alaska and Hawaiian, and all of the Alaska and Hawaiian employees who work around the clock, around all our systems to take exceptional care of our guests. All our employees make our companies what they are. Very special. I am honored and humbled to be here in Honolulu with you. It was only about a year ago that many of us from Alaska were in this exact spot celebrating our 15-year anniversary flying to Hawaii. And like in any relationship, anniversary are a chance to recommit to what matters. And one thing you should know about Alaska Airlines is that we're all about people. We're guided by our values: own safety, do the right thing, and be kind-hearted. And that's how we run our business in a very balanced way, so that we can take care of our guests, our employees, and our communities who depend on us. That's the secret that's worked for us for so many years. When Alaska first started flying to Hawaii, now it's over 16 years ago, it was a moonshot for our company. I was working in maintenance back then, and I know there's some tech ops folks here from Hawaiian, and we were trying to certify our aircraft for ETOPS. It was such a huge deal, and to learn how to fly open water, learn about all the airports and how service and all the catering works here in the islands. And But more importantly, we want to learn about the culture and the values of Hawaii and how we could serve your needs in a way that's respectful to the people and to the communities here. And we continue that spirit of learning to this day. Have you seen this morning, we announced that Alaska and Hawaiian have reached a definitive agreement to join together. This combination will allow us to better serve the people of Hawaii, expand Alaska's reach across the Pacific, and create an even stronger airline. We have a deep and long-held respect for Hawaii and Hawaiian as an airline, an employer, and the embodiment of Hawaii's culture. And the one thing we do know that this is deeply personal to the people of Hawaii because of what the airline means to all of you and to the state. We also feel a great sense of responsibility to combine in a way that honors the Hawaiian Airlines legacy while ensuring that we can continue to create opportunities in the future. You know, as far as the financial details under this agreement, Alaska will acquire Hawaiian for $18 a share, and the transaction value is approximately $1.9 billion, so $1 billion in equity and $900 million of debt. And of course, this is all subject to regulatory approvals and customary closing conditions. Our combined entity will have more than $13 billion in annual revenue, 365 aircraft, 1,400 flights a day, and serve 138 destinations, including 29 international and over 1,200 destinations globally through our One World Alliance. The combined airline will be powered by some 31,000 employees here in Hawaii, the state of Alaska, throughout the West Coast, and other locations throughout the world. The one thing we do know from experience is the success and failure of transactions such as this depends on a lot of factors. But one of the most important and elusive is culture. The cultural element is so important that we decided early on, and this is a lesson learned from our previous transaction, that the Hawaiian Airlines brand will remain, not only in name, but also in the distinctive branding that appears on the Hawaiian airplanes at airports and other locations, and in the experience enjoyed by Hawaiian Airlines passengers, partners, employees, and the communities it serves. I just want to underscore this because this is a departure from what the industry does. Industries usually have one airline under one single operating platform. The one biggest question I have is, Ben, how are you going to do a dual brand under a single platform? And I just say there is no other choice. We will figure it out because we need to respect the culture and the legacy that's been created here for over 94 years. So the operations of the two companies will be combined and be supported by a single industry-leading loyalty program, while our guests continue to enjoy the authentic spirit of each of these beloved brands into the future. Maintaining these two brands, like I said, is unusual in our industry, but makes sense in light of the airline's unique histories and cultures and the unique connection people have to both. As the two airlines rooted in the 49th and 50th state, both of which are uniquely reliant upon air travel, Alaska and Hawaiian share a great deal in common. This is not surprising, given the long-standing ties Alaska and Hawaii share, from the friendship between the late Senators Inouye and Stevens to the bond shared by the native Hawaiian and Alaska Native groups. We are proud of our incredible people who take care of our guests, each other, and our communities every day. We are aligned in the way we do business, the way in which we treat our employees, our engagement and support to the communities we serve. This will continue now and into the future. Together we can build on our respective 90-plus years legacies, do more for Hawaii travelers and for our employees, and create a stronger platform on which to compete and sustain for the future. Now, speaking of histories, you may be interested to know that Alaska's history reaches back to 1932. And in addition to operating routes to Hawaii and other destinations, we also serve the state of Alaska for over 91 years, and today we fly 70 flights a day within the state to 19 communities, only 3 of which are accessible by road. For these communities, our passenger and cargo service are critical. We have a natural appreciation for Hawaiian Airlines' critical service here in Hawaii. So looking ahead, there are review and approval processes we must go through, so nothing changes right away. And there is much we still need to learn and think through about what the combination will look like in the future. but there's some things we know today. So first, we look forward to learning from the employees of Hawaiian Airlines and from the people across Hawaii about how best to be the good stewards of the Hawaiian Airlines brand. Second, we expect to remain one of Hawaii's top employers, maintaining and growing the 5,800 union represented positions in the state over time. At Alaska, 86% of the 24,000 employees are union represented, the majority by the same unions that also represent Hawaiian Airline employees, and we will work together with them as this process moves forward. And as Honolulu becomes our second largest hub in the Alaska system, we will need strong local operations presence and local leadership here to support it. Third, we will work to create even more opportunities for career advancement and expand access to workforce development programs for Hawaii residents through our combined platform. Fourth, we will maintain neighbor island service so that these air-dependent communities will continue to be served, similar to our commitment to remote communities in the state of Alaska. Fifth, we will continue to invest in Hawaii communities, combining and expanding the contribution of our airlines and working with local leaders to support a vibrant future for Hawaii. And finally, we will align both airlines' strong commitment to environmental stewardship by incorporating Hawaiian Airlines into Alaska's aggressive 5-part plan to net zero carbon emissions by 2040. In closing, I'll say together, we will be stronger, better able to compete, to maintain and grow jobs, to build careers, and to invest in a sustainable future for our airlines and the communities we serve. As companies that proudly reflect the culture, geography, and the spirit of our home states, places that are uniquely reliant on air travel, Alaska Airlines and Hawaiian Airlines go together naturally and strategically. We share a commitment to service and excellence, a commitment we express in the way we care for our guests, each other, and in our support for our communities. I know I speak for all of us at Alaska when I say I'm optimistic about the future for our combined airlines, and I'm excited about what we can create together in the years to come. Mahalo.
Thanks so much, Ben. And now I'd like to invite up Peter Ingram, President and CEO of Hawaiian Airlines. Peter.
Aloha. Mahalo, Ben, for your remarks. Just last month, Hawaiian celebrated our 94th anniversary. On November 11th, 1929, our visionary founder, Stan Kennedy, revolutionized the way we travel and do commerce across these islands by introducing commercial flights in Hawaii and bringing us closer together. Serving Hawaii has remained core to who we are as we've expanded our business to provide Kama'aina access to destinations across North America, Asia, and the Pacific, and to introduce our culture and beautiful islands to the world. Today, our more than 7,000 employees are proud ambassadors of this special place, and we all share a deep kuleana to care for our guests and the communities we serve. This singular mission to be Hawaii's airline is very unique in our industry, except for one carrier that shares many similarities. Hawaiian and Alaska have been able to maintain our independence thanks to several distinguishing characteristics. We share deep roots as hometown carriers dedicated to serving small, geographically dispersed communities that are far removed from the continental United States. To do this at scale requires a deep understanding of and commitment to our community's needs, something that can't be replicated by large network carriers. Another shared quality is a focus on what is most important to us: people. It is no surprise that both Hawaiian and Alaska are consistently among the highest rated airlines in guest satisfaction. Every single one of our thousands of employees understands fundamentally that we are here to serve people. This unwavering respect for the communities we serve is illustrated by the people on the tails of our planes, another distinct characteristic we share. And they're not just any people. They represent people from our home states and their welcoming hospitality. As Ben said a few minutes ago, the decision for the two brands to coexist wasn't difficult because they're already aligned on the most important responsibility of our respective businesses. Our airlines are part of the fabric of the communities where we're based. We employ many thousands of people with rewarding careers. We provide cargo service to move goods between our communities across great distances. We support local nonprofits that advance the interests and well-being of our communities. And we partner with local suppliers supporting small businesses and healthy local economies. Unlike airlines that operate in much larger metropolitan areas, we have an outsized influence in our home states, and we take this responsibility very seriously. I mentioned earlier that our companies place tremendous value on people, the people we serve, as well as our own colleagues and teammates. It was important to us at Hawaiian to ensure that Alaska will maintain and grow union jobs in Hawaii, retain flight crew bases and operations in Hawaii, with Honolulu becoming a strategic hub for the combined company. Both Hawaiian and Alaska seek to create more meaningful jobs and new opportunities for our employees to grow and develop their careers. We heard earlier from John Leong, whose organization Kupu is hosting us this afternoon here at Ho'okupa Center. In the Hawaiian language, the word kupu means to sprout and grow. Kupu offers programs throughout the U.S. Pacific region that empower young people to serve their communities. Kupu's mission is very much aligned with the values we place on our workforce development and career advancement. And we're pleased to support Kupu's important work and know that Alaska will continue to foster this shared value with our employees. For longtime customers and Hawaiian Miles members, this combination will bring significant benefits. In addition to more choice of destinations and products, members will enjoy enhanced benefits as part of a combined loyalty program. This is the biggest announcement in Hawaiian's history, and that's saying a lot for a 94-year-old company. Our shared similarities, our people, and our values run deep, and that is what will ensure a prosperous future for both brands. Working together, we foresee growth and opportunity for the people we care most about, our passengers, our employees, and the communities we serve. And now, I'll ask Katie to come back so that we can take your questions. Mahalo.
Thanks so much, and can I get Ben and Peter back up towards the stage at least? At this time, we'll take questions from in-room media. I ask that our friends in the media line up at the audience microphone and state your name, the outlet you're with, and who your question's directed to into the microphone so those of us at the live stream could hear
Kristen
you.
Concilio, KITV. Can I, any one of you actually, can you just clarify that so Hawaiian Miles members can use their miles, same exact miles on Alaska and vice versa. What about their status, like Pualani status or?
I think once the transaction closes, we'll be merging the loyalty programs together, and then we'll do all the matching. So if you're an elite member on Hawaiian, we'll transfer you to that same status on Alaska Airlines. So the loyalty program will become one.
Will Pualani remain, or how does that work?
Sorry, can you?
So the loyalty program.
Yeah, it'll merge as one. So we'll bring all the loyalty program into one program.
Just one more, sorry. Can you also talk, people are concerned whenever there's a merger about prices in the market. How is this going to affect pricing?
Well, so nothing's going to happen in the short term. This will take at least 12 to 18 months before it closes. But I can tell you about the philosophy and principles of Alaska Airlines. We focus on keeping costs low. And the reason we focus on keeping costs low, we have one of the lowest costs in the industry, is that we can offer lower fares. So our goal is always to offer the lowest fares at the highest value for our guests. And that's what our DNA is all about. That's how we've been wired. That's how we operate on the West Coast. And we hope to bring that same principle here.
Maybe just to clarify the first question, just to make sure we're clear, there's an approval process that we're required to go through, so it'll be 12 to 18 months before we have all the approvals in place, we estimate. In that period, nothing changes. So the Hawaiian miles benefits are exactly the same. The Alaska loyalty benefits are exactly the same. And then post-merger, once we have all the approvals, once the deal closes, that's when the two loyalty plans will come together.
Thanks, Peter. Nikki?
Hi, Nikki Schenfeld, KH12. Does Alaska Airlines plan on keeping the same number of routes or flights between the inner islands, and will it impact Molokai and Lanai?
What's great about this combination is that the networks are very complementary. So when you actually look at the total number of departures that we will have about 1,400 departures. Only 12 are overlap. So there's no reason to say there's too much overlap and we have to thin it out. So no, we will maintain all the network that exists today. We will maintain neighbor island service as you see it today. On the question of Molokai, I'm just learning that, to be honest. I've learned that it is a big deal based on what I heard from other folks. So I have to learn. I have to learn of the limitations, and Peter was trying to educate me on the limitations of the runway and the aircraft that's required. So more to come from Alaska as we learn from Hawaiian on what's required.
My question, this is Eddie with Hawaii News Now. My question's for Peter. We talked to one, obviously this news was, you guys kept it a pretty big secret. We talked to some employees who kind of were taken aback by the news, still, trying to make sense of it all. We talked to one employee, 18 years with Hawaiian Airlines. He felt blindsided that he didn't really know this was happening. He wished there was some more dialogue about it. Could you explain why this was kind of very hush-hush?
Yeah, I know this is a very emotional day, in some ways a very difficult day for our employees, and it's going to take a lot of people time to process that, and we recognize that, and we know as a leadership team we've got a responsibility to make sure we communicate. The nature of a transaction like this, when two public companies agree to come together and to merge, for one to be bought by the other, requires secrecy. We have to, anytime we have knowledge of a transaction that could affect the value of our stock price, we have to either disclose that or we have to keep it secret and make sure that no one with that knowledge is trading on it. So, as difficult as it is, we had to keep it secret. This is not something we can have communications about. As soon as we were ready today to make the announcement, and our boards voted on this just in the early morning hours yesterday. We began the process of communications, and that process is going to continue going forward over many weeks. We're going to introduce Ben and the Alaska team to the Hawaiian team. We're going to share what this means individually for people, because it varies very much by which work group you're in, what geography you're in. So we know that that's a big job for us. I understand that employee's concern. I have 18 years with Hawaiian Airlines myself, and if I woke up this morning and this was a big surprise, I can see how that is a shock. But we'll make sure we do as good a job as we can on communications as we move forward now that we're public and can talk about it.
And just one follow-up for the employees we talked to. There was a questions about seniority, if that would be affected, and we are hearing that the union workers are for sure protected, but the non-union workers, are layoffs a possibility?
Let me talk about the first part on seniority, and then I'll hand it over to Ben to talk about the non-union employees. In terms of the seniority, which is most important, particularly to the union employees, and there is a commitment. You've seen it in the press release. Ben said it earlier that all of the union employees would have job protection. The seniority combination for these work groups is typically handled by the unions that represent them. And one thing that is helpful in this case is that most of the unions that represent our employees are exactly the same as what represent Alaska's employees. And so that process can move forward, hopefully fairly seamlessly, once we get through again the regulatory process and close, and that will be taken care of. So seniority will certainly be honored. People will not be starting at the bottom of a seniority list. Anyone who is concerned about that should know that that's not going to be how this is treated.
On the non-union jobs, let me start by saying Honolulu will become the second largest hub for Alaska Airlines, and which is very exciting. And because we're maintaining the network, as I answered the previous question, and this will be a big hub, a lot of the operational leadership jobs that exist today will continue into the future. A lot of the support that's required to maintain such a large hub will continue into the future. Exactly how many of those are, we don't know at this point, so I want to be totally candid because we're so early in the process, but I see a significant number of those jobs still continuing in the future because of the geography from the West Coast and here being so far away. We will need a large presence here to continue the wonderful operation that exists here and into the future, and we want to grow it. We want to grow the union jobs, the non-union jobs, and grow the airline here in Hawaii.
The last thing I'll add on that, for the next 12 to 18 months, however long the approval process takes, nothing changes. And we're operating the same complex, dynamic, growing business that we're operating today. And we need all of those employees, and we're committed to do that. And we're going to be communicating with them in the period ahead to make sure they have all the information they need.
Thank you. Jason?
Hi, Jason Ubai, Hawaii Public Radio. I had a question related to your investor presentation about the card branding for the banking card. So it sounds like Hawaiian Miles card will be folded or into Alaska, or can you tell me how that's going to work out?
Again, nothing changes in the next 12 to 18 months until the deal closes, and at this point we can't talk about that. Those are our confidential agreements, and but after the deal closes, things will eventually come together. But at this point, nothing changes with the card. Like Peter said, this is a lengthy process, so in the next 12 to 18 months, everything is status quo.
Hi, Sophia Compton, Pacific Business News. My question was related to why you decided to trade at $18 per share, or have the purchase be at $18 per share when you guys have recently been trading, or Hawaiian has been trading at $4 per share?
Who's the question for?
Either one of you. Mainly Alaska.
No, it's a great question. The valuation of companies, financial valuations are complex, and we had this process for us before I even had my first conversation with Peter began many months ago, early in 2023. And our process was very deliberate and thoughtful with outside advisors, with our board, to determine a fair valuation for the company. And we believe that today we have a deal because we agreed on a price that was fair, that valued the company at the right place. And airline shares have been very volatile. And so we took that aside to say, what is the company actually valued at? So we took our time and made sure that the price that we offered was fair.
Hi, Jeff Tucker, Beat of Hawaii.
And back here live in the Hawaii News Now studio, if you're just joining us moments ago, Alaska Airlines announced it is in the process of acquiring Hawaiian Airlines for $1.9 billion. Officials said it would be a dual brand, assuring the public Hawaiian Airlines will keep its unique identity. The combined companies also expect to remain one of Hawaii's top employers. Be sure to join us right here on Hawaii News Now for the latest on the merger and the rest of the day's headlines tonight at 5.
Hashed out as the deal gets closed, a lot of these details. But I'm still a little curious when we talk about, the maintaining the separate brands under the same operating, in particular with like in-flight amenities, and you guys have your own unique in-flight amenities. I mean, I don't know, just various ones, right? So as this goes on, do you see yourselves as, say, like Hawaiian deferring or folding into Alaska's amenities, or do both? Does keeping those brands essentially mean just keeping the paint, on both planes, or are we talking about maintaining those types of amenities that keep both operations unique?
It's a great question, and I will tell you the team is underway looking at all those elements from the brand, the livery, what we're going to do on airports, what we're going to do on board, uniforms. We're going to look at everything A to Z. So for example, and I hope you like it, that's our cheese plate, I'm going to say our famous cheese plate on Alaska that's renowned. If that's something that would fit the brand, that would be compatible on the Hawaiian Airlines brand, it would something we would bring in. It could be, like for example, at Alaska, we have an Aloha shirt. What would we do with the Aloha shirt? How would we, combine it with what we'd be doing on our flights to Hawaii? Those are things that we're going to look at. So we're going to look at every element, every touch point from a customer perspective, from the website to the app, and what would that look like, so that we can actually execute this dual brand strategy in the most thoughtful way. The reason we don't have all the answers right now because it hasn't been done. And so we actually have to go through it. and ensure that we can execute it well so guests that travel on us will have that seamless experience and can experience the unique culture that's here, because that's what we don't want to lose when we do this. We don't want to, like you said, just have a paint and all the inside looks like Alaska and has nothing about the culture and what makes this place special. There's a lot to think through.
Hi, it's Eddie again. So we heard that Hawaiian is committed to protecting the 5,800 union jobs. We also learned that there are 1,400 non-union jobs. And I know you said you want to grow. Obviously, you would prefer not to cut or furlough any jobs, but if there were any jobs that were either cut or furloughed, would that be like duplicate jobs, or what circumstances would that be? Is it a possibility?
Again, it's too soon to tell because we haven't gone into the process, but just one example, there can be two CEOs of the company. So that's just one example. That's one of the 1,400 that we have to look at, right? That's part of, you said there's one CEO. So it's just to be practical. And I just want to be cautious here. I can't give you a number. We have to go through the process. For example, we have no international experience. So that international experience is crucial. The folks here who, on the maintenance side, who maintain, who do 717 maintenance and the oversight around that, we're going to need it. We're going to need the people who specialize in wide bodies. So there's a lot that we're going to need, but there is going to be some duplication in roles that we're going to have to address. And again, I can't tell you what that number is, but I'm hopeful that the number is not large.
Okay, thank you. And I just had one follow-up for you. If you could help me, I'm not such a big Alaska, haven't flown it a lot, but the VIP status, the top tier is what's it called?
100K.
100K. So for Hawaiian Airlines, it's Pualani Platinum.
Okay.
So I'm guessing.
Yeah, those are some of the things we have to match. Okay. So like Peter said, when this is all over and it closes, we're going to look at all the tier statuses, and I'm not that familiar with the program and our statuses, and we're going to match them. And it'll be easy to match because, right. it's how you gain status. We did it before with Virgin America. And then we'll also match those to One World, because One World you'll have Emerald and Ruby and Sapphire, and then your status will be recognized when you fly Japan Airlines, right? So so those are the type of things we have to do.
Right. But it probably won't be called Pualani Platinum, right?
So that's part of one of the things that we're going to do. See, because, and again, I don't have all the answers today. This is just brand new. We'll have a dual brand, but the one platform that's going to be the same is going to be the loyalty program. So think of something like Marriott Bonvoy, right? You're part of Marriott Bonvoy, but you could stay in different hotels, right? Under this house of brands. So that's how we're thinking about it, that the loyalty program will be that common platform. And so I'm not sure what we'll call, maybe they'll all change the different levels. And you'll have the different brands. You'll have the Alaska brand, you'll have the Hawaiian brand. So does that make a little more sense?
Yeah, I guess just clarifying. Yeah. Alaska Airlines people will have their, because of their own brands, right? So will the Alaska flyers have their own, or it will all be one joint loyalty program?
No, it'll be one once the companies come together, it'll be one loyalty program.
Right, just own brands. They each have their own brands, Hawaiian, Alaska.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go to Nikki for last question. Nikki, last question. Thank you.
A lot of the comments, Ben, for the next 12 to 18 months, if you can consider surfboards free neighbor island. A lot of people would be mad if I didn't recommend that. But also, for both of you, do you have any concerns about any pushback with the DOJ on this?
That's a great question. And, we had the question today on the analyst call. The way I see it, and I mentioned it before, these are two complementary networks. So when you actually combine the total number of flights, we'll have 1,400 flights with the two combined airlines. Only 12 are overlap over that 1,400. So it's very, very small. So the DOJ can't say that we're duplicating, we're eliminating service, we're going to eliminate choice for travelers. We're not. We're going to keep, and those 12 we're not going to eliminate. Those will exist. So I think from a DOJ perspective, when you look at it, then from a customer perspective, the domestic and international footprint for West Coast travelers and residents here in Hawaii totally expands. So if you live here in Honolulu, we're just talking, we were having an interview with a reporter in from, I think she was the Wall Street Journal in D.C. And she said, I visited my mom in Honolulu, and well, I said, going forward in the future, if you're flying on the combined airline, you could get there directly from the islands on one airline. It wouldn't be, you can go from Honolulu to Seattle, Seattle to DC, all seamless travel, right? And so that's how it changes. And for residents of Hawaii, we will have 3 times the destinations, the options to fly direct or one stop once the company comes together. So it's going to be very pro-consumer for the DOJ. The other thing I'll say, it'll be very pro-competitive. I think, Peter knows this. The top biggest 4 airlines in the country dominate 80% of the market share. So this will give her a bigger footprint to compete stronger with our competitors. So it's pro-competitive, it's pro-consumer, and so we feel good about our case to the DOJ. About your surfboard, those are the things we want to hear. What's important.
Oh, you'll hear it.
Yeah, no. Look. So I will tell you, in the state of Alaska, we created something called Club 49. And Club 49 was something where we listened to all the communities. We have this thing called the Community Advisory Board from the 19 communities we serve. And we wanted to say, what's important to you? And for people that live in these small villages, of course, they go back and they'll go to Costco either in Seattle or Anchorage and bring big totes, and they say, look, we need free bags. We needed three bags that we can take back to the villages. And so part of our Club 49, and there's 3 free bags for people who are part of Club 49. And so we want to understand what's important to the people here, what's valuable to them, so that we can create something that has value. So we want to listen, we want to learn, because we know that these things are important, right? It's one of the reasons why bike cases are part of our program, that they're considered a bag. You don't pay an oversized fee for a bike case. That's because I ride a bike and I like that.
Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you so much, everyone, and to Ben and Peter for being with us today. There'll be more to come. Again, for more information, please visit localcareglobalreach.com. Thank you.
Amico,